Hey Oz,
Hey, what's up?
what movie we watching this week?
Oh, we are wrapping up Batman month with a movie marriage of Seven, The Crow, and those old plastic green army men. This week we this week we are going to put a conclusion to Batman month with the most recent Batman movie, Matt Reeves' The Batman.
Little green army men.
That's what it was. I was looking, like, I couldn't tell if he was more of like a minesweeper army man or like what. I actually, like, no joke, I went to Google image search and was like looking up the different like poses to see like, which one does he remind me of. But yeah, he's just a plastic green army man.
I would have been shocked had the Crow not been in there. I was waiting for the Crow. Like, come on, say it. Yeah, there it is.
Even in Eric Draven's world, where it can't rain all the time, in Gotham City it can. It
literally rains all the time.
Yeah. And I'll touch base on it now because I'll forget to do it later. But as much rain as in this movie, I don't know how the city wasn't flooded before the dam broke.
maybe the dams were there to keep the city water from getting in the ocean.
It actually was a dry waterbed when the movie started, and that was.
They were up against the Gobi Desert.
Yeah, Gotham out there in the middle of the Sahara, but you never know. It was raining nonstop in this film, but that's okay. Welcome back to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where, of course, we take a monthly theme and alternate additions to our limitless list of podcast topics. This month, of course, we're putting a conclusion to Batman month, where we've covered a different starting movie of a Batman lineage. Of course, we've covered Adam West in '66 and Michael Keaton in '89 and Christian Bale in 2005. Was it?
Yep, 2005.
And now we're covering a two-time Batman, if you actually want to count Twilight. Robert Pattinson.
He was a man bat.
He was. Nice segue into later in the show.
So they did that.
So Robert Pattinson dons the cowl and takes over as a very young Bruce Wayne in Matt Reeves' 2022 The Batman.
Lots of exposed jaw to this Batman.
Much exposed jaw. I don't think he needed any other weapons. He could have just chin butted them and he would have been all right. So before we get too far, though, we do want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Don S. and Melissa L. Thank you once again for your continued patronage.
Thank
we do
you.
appreciate
Thank you.
Your support, as always. So we've got The Batman, the very egotistical and prestigious Batman, much like Ohio State and Miami and University of Miami. We are the Batman.
Insufferable. The Ohio State University.
Right.
You're in Columbus, Ohio. Like,
exactly. It just, every time I think of that, all I could think of is like the Key and Peele sketches where they're introducing themselves as different football players for like the All-Star game. It cracks me up. It cracks me up so much.
I love how it's easy to laugh at the names they came up with, but some of the colleges that they made up with or reference. Right. Like one of them was from Adams College, which is the non-existent college that is the school in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yep. And there was there was one that was IUPUI. The Indiana University, Penn State, Pennsylvania University of Indiana, or something. I don't know what they are, but I remember that was what a WIU's conference opponents was IUPUI.
Yes,
it was
quite a mouthful. IUPUI.
Yeah, it was fun listening to him. Adams College, the Adams of Revenge of the Nerds fame. Yeah, it was good stuff. So, The Batman.
Hey,
what do we got here?
So, Oz, we're on episode 48.
48. We are 5 away from a year to putting a wrap of season 1.
Yeah. It's wow, what a journey we've been on, my friend.
I had one of my students ask me today, like, what episode are you on? I'm like, I go, episode 48, and they went, wow, that's almost 50. And I went,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. It's also almost 52, full year.
You're not wrong, young scholar.
Wow. You rounded up. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we're almost done with a year.
I know.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like a year.
No,
I think back to some of them, and I'm like, yeah, like, Hallmark Christmas movie month was quite a while ago, but it really doesn't feel like we've been doing this for nearly a year already.
I know. It feels like it was just yesterday we were talking about Danica McKellar.
I know, but you know what? This is just the beginning, because we're going to be doing this until podcasts aren't cool anymore.
Which is never.
Never. Yeah.
As long as there's middle-aged men, there will always be podcasts.
Exactly. If they could talk into a microphone about something they enjoy, then there will always be podcasts.
Scream into the void.
Listen to me.
I have important things to say.
At least we're talking about something we enjoy. Like, we don't act holier than thou. We
certainly hope not.
we know we're a couple of lubs that just, we enjoy talking to each other more than we enjoy talking about
this is really just for us, if you want to be honest about it.
So for you 4 or 5 listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. I actually told my students today, I go, honestly, because we're not focused on a genre, I go, we don't have like the loyal listeners that like a tech podcast would have, or a comedy podcast or whatever. I go, really, the people that tune in every week, I like to believe they're tuning in because they like listening to us. So,
because I need validation.
Right,
I need people to like me.
So it does feel good, when I can log into all my different emails and then, stream the podcast to boost the listener count. But it's like, I know it's for us.
Usually a couple of the YouTube views a week are me.
Yeah, I do it too.
I miss my friend. I want to hear us talk.
I know it seems weird, but it's the same. Like, we do this now, and then of course I listen to it when I'm editing it, and then I put it out there. But when I'll have students that'll ask to see what we just did, so I'll pop on a couple minutes of it. And normally I would like be weirded out looking at myself talking, but I'm like, I don't even care, because the kids see me act that way in front of them. So
yeah. This is the real authentic us.
Yeah. This is us.
There's no dog and pony show here, folks.
No, I can't afford a dog and pony.
not and one or the other.
Half dog, half pony.
Which half?
Top
half. Yeah. front half. Front half of a dog, top half of a horse. Put them together.
I want it to be like front half dog, like low legs, and then really tall back legs.
Yeah.
so they look like a high-heeled shoe.
Oh. Should we get to the Batman?
We probably should. It's a 3-hour movie, so
I mean, we could have a 3-hour runtime to this episode, I suppose.
Yeah, we see your 248, and we'll meet you.
We raise you.
All right, character-wise.
Characters. I put 10 in the rundown here. There's 5 that really matter and 5 that are there for a mention, I suppose.
And 5 that don't.
Yeah.
Guy with gun.
Thug number 7.
Newscaster number 2.
So the 5 that drive the plot and whatnot, we have Bruce Wayne / Batman, played by Robert Pattinson, Bobby Pats, of Twilight fame, as you mentioned earlier, in a much different role that
he's Bat Pat.
That I think he succeeded in.
Yes,
we have Selina Kyle, a.k.a. Catwoman, played by Zoë Kravitz. We've got Edward Nashton, the Riddler, played by the amazing Paul Dano.
Oh, yeah. I was so glad that they, let him be, chubby Paul Dano. It wasn't, this beautiful person as a villain. It was no, he just... You could tell he was brains over brawn, and I did. I really love that casting.
They reveal
he's so good.
His profession was a forensic accountant. He looked like a forensic accountant.
Yeah. He also looked like that chubby kid in the pictures. They did a really good job of matching that up. He did. Great casting. He's such an underrated actor.
Yeah. Agreed completely. We got Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. And then we have Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro. I would say those are the 5 kind of lead characters in this.
Did it bother you that they, after last week we were hearing about Carmine Falcone, and then this week it's Carmine Falcone?
As part of my prep, about an hour ago, I watched the honest trailer for The Batman, and they referenced that. They were going back and forth between Batman Begins and this, how it's Falcone in Batman Begins, and it's Falcone. 2 syllables in The Batman.
I think it probably goes without saying much that you preferred Turturro over Wilkinson.
I don't know what gives you that impression. Not that we didn't spend half of last week talking about Tom Wilkinson's understated, subtle performance as Carmine Falcone.
You
in Batman
barely
Begins.
noticed that. You barely noticed he was there.
Yeah,
he was the rug that tied the room together in that movie.
Your family bag.
Don't come in here with your anger.
Oh no, lock me up. Oh
boy.
Oh, Tom Wilkinson. Heaven help you.
Yeah.
Our 5 sort of supporting characters, we have D.A. Gil Coulson, played by Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah, he's a Sarsgaard, not a
Skarsgård. Sarsgaard, not Skarsgård.
Right, it's right.
Sarsgaard. We got Alfred Pennyworth. I put him as kind of a backup character, played by Andy Serkis, who has worked with the director Matt Reeves on several occasions there, particularly the Planet of the Apes movies.
I always enjoy, because obviously Andy Serkis is so well known for his under the prosthetic look. But I really do enjoy when he gets an opportunity to be an actor and not just a performer. And well so stated. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah,
I thought he did a really good job.
I thought he did too. We got Oswald Oz, Cobblepot, Penguin.
He's from Goonies, right?
Yes, yeah, he's from Goonies. Played by the unrecognizable Colin Farrell.
Very unrecognizable. Like, this is the same guy that was Bullseye in the original Daredevil movie. Mm-hmm. And not anymore.
They just peeled the bullseye off his forehead.
Yeah. Other than that, it looked just like it. He was
exactly
he was still flicking peanuts into some old lady's throat. So.
We have Mayor-elect Bella Real, played by Jamie Lawson. And then I'm going to include an inconsequential character, at least as far as the plot goes. But we have the character billed as Unseen Arkham Prisoner.
Yeah.
Played by Barry Cogan, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He was Druig in the Eternals.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. I thought when you said I thought you were going to say Druid, and then all I thought was Spaceballs.
Yes, he played all of the Druids in Spaceballs. Right. Dink, 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 dink.
She's Druish.
So those are the characters. What about the plot to this marathon of a movie?
It is a marathon, and I touch on that a little bit as we go. But let's not kid ourselves. This movie, for being nearly a 3-hour movie, we jump into year 2 of Batman. We completely disregard another origin story.
Yes.
You know, Matt Reeves wanted to avoid that. He went in like, hey, if you don't know who Batman's origin story is by now, then watch another movie because we're not there. Movie kicks off, awesome opening. Obviously not a cold open, but it felt like a cold open.
Yeah.
Of the Riddler is like our opening scene is through like a scope, through binoculars.
Yeah, he's surveilling. Yeah.
A lot of heavy breathing. You hear that he's breathing into plastic. But anyway, the Riddler, which we don't know is the Riddler yet, but somebody is keeping an eye on Mayor Mitchell. It's Halloween night. He's across the way looking into the mayoral mansion, and he sees the mayor's wife and the kid. They go out to go trick or treat, and the mayor's left by himself. And then the mayor's watching the news. They had a debate with because they're up for election, so there's a mayoral debate, and he's kind of watching that. He's on the phone with his campaign guy. He's kind of pacing back and forth. Then we see just back in a doorway in the shadows is the Riddler. The only way you see him is because the light from the TV is reflecting off of his glasses, kind of giving him a little silhouette. And he kills the mayor. Yeah. Bludgeons him with like a carpet ripper, and it kills him, and leaves the card.
Kills him dead.
All the way. All the way dead. It just would, if he wasn't sure, he went ahead and like wrapped his face in duct tape or saran. You know, it's like it was graphic but not like gory, but it was still enough that like, whoa, we're watching.
This is a PG-13 movie.
We're watching violence here. Like
we are.
It's easily of all the Batman movies, not only that we've talked about, but all the Batman movies. Period. Like this was the most violent. Like attack.
Graphic.
Yeah, and I mentioned Seven and Crow, not only for Crow because of the comic book connection, but because it was raining nonstop.
The rain.
but really Seven, because this movie, right from the jump, is not a comic book superhero movie. This is a suspense thriller with some noir feel to it. You know, in the landscape of Gotham City. Yeah. And so, you know, they could have easily made the same movie with the Riddler just being a serial killer and Batman being just the top detective. Yeah. You know, it would have been the same plot.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the noir there in your sort of list of genres. I was talking earlier with Patreon subscriber Melissa L. Thank you for your patronage, Melissa L.
Yeah, I'm not nice enough as a Patreon for our show. This is your part. You do the community outreach of the show.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of handshaking, you know, a lot of baby kissing, a lot of like.
You're really inspired by the mayoral debate of this movie.
Got to canvas the neighborhood, canvas the community, right. Extending our goodwill from Let's Talk About Flicks. Yeah. I was talking with Patreon subscriber Melissa L. About what if this was my week to do the movie Marriage, and it's like Chinatown is one that kind of stuck out.
Oh yeah, that would have been a great one. That would have been a good one too. Yeah, just or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He started as a comic. No, I kid, of course. But yeah, Chinatown would have been a good one. I almost said Cougar Town, that Courtney Cox TV show.
Cougar Town.
But yeah, Chinatown would have been a very good movie Marriage component as well. So the mayor's dead. Halloween, and Gordon and the police are there. Calls in Batman. Because again, that connection's already there. Batman he's one of the guys, he's part of the team. And so, and what I do love, and we joked about this a lot in Batman 66, of how the Riddler would throw out some riddle and Batman and Robin would instantly know the answer. But it was always somewhere just completely off the wall, but it was the right answer. Throughout this movie, like the Riddler has he drops his riddles, and it's not a throwback to 66 Batman or even the show, but like Batman is sharp. Like he figures all of these riddles out practically in real time. With the exception of a couple that really kind of to get to him. But that's just because he didn't have enough information. So they're investigating the mayor's murder, and Batman figures it out. That
He's probably great at Sudoku also.
Probably, yeah. And so, just those, there was his thumb was cut off.
Yeah.
And then they, find a website and they, thumb drive, let's go find a car. So Batman and Gordon are investigating the murder. And then the very next night, the Riddler kills the police commissioner at the gym.
Yeah.
It leaves another card for Batman. I really, really liked the design of the card. Like he was leaving him like greeting cards.
Yeah.
And they, it wasn't just something he whipped up and printed out. These were like he went to Hallmark and can you do this one-off for me?
Went to Carlton Cards, bought exactly. bought 5, got the 6th one free.
Right. And so, but they were well done. It was fun. It was kind of vintage looking. And so now we've got something going on. The mayor's dead. The police commissioner's dead. They don't have any leads. Like I said, Batman and Gordon find the thumb drive.
Yeah.
They discover the photo. They discover a whole series of photos of the mayor with a woman at the Penguin's Iceberg Lounge. So Batman, he heads to the Iceberg Lounge. He's investigating Penguin. Penguin, I don't know what you're talking about. He's pleading ignorant. He's a crime boss.
Yeah, he's Falcone's, Falcone's, not Falcone.
Falcone, yeah.
Was it Falcone's number 2, correct?
Yeah. He's basically, I feel like Penguin to Falcone in this movie was I'm drawing a blank on, what was Nicholson's Joker's real, like his name in that movie?
Napier?
Napier.
Yeah, Napier to Carl, aka Marquise Grissom.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of the relationship is, he's his muscle. He's his, so Batman's checking out the Penguin. Penguin is playing innocent, and ignorant, and he just doesn't know what's going on. Batman catches a glimpse of Selina Kyle, which, can you blame him? And so, but not only a glimpse, but he realizes that she's also
she's lingering. He notices that she's lingering and she's listening, and she's paying more attention than someone who would probably,
because she just came in to drop off a drink.
Yeah, who should know better than to linger in a situation like that.
Yeah, she's definitely eavesdropping, and he follows her home and like sets up across the way. Just a lot of surveillance in this movie.
Yeah.
And discovers that she is roommates with the woman that was with the mayor.
The plot thickens.
And so it's just a roommate situation right now. We see Batman watching her get dressed. She changes into her cat suit. Not like mascots. She's not a furry. That would have been a fun movie, yeah.
Gets the big fuzzy tail.
Right. She looks like Taylor Swift in the movie Cats. She's heading out on the town. Well, I could have said like James Gordon. So she like acrobats her way off the balcony,
Yeah, she like double back gainers.
But she's headed to the mayor's mansion because he took Annika's passport. Annika she's a foreigner, and he's taken her passport because when they were together, he just basically was rambling on about the truth that we'll get to later on, who the informant is. Somebody's an informant.
The rat.
To the police, the rat. And so she knows because the mayor told her, he took her passport. So Selina Kyle's going to go get her passport back because that's not right. Plus he's dead, so he can't do anything about it anyway. Batman follows her back to the mansion. They have this cute little back and forth where he realizes she could probably stand her own. When Selina gets back home, Annika's missing. So now
place is trashed.
Yeah, place is trashed. Annika, whatever, is gone, and she's like, Batman, I need you.
I think it's Anakin, actually.
Anakin. I think it was.
I think it was Anakin.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. She's off to murder some Jedi. But yeah, so comes back. She's gone, and Selina realizes I don't know what to do. I can't do this myself. So she and Batman team up. Which, if you follow any of the Batman mythos, Batman and Catwoman have this on again, off again thing. They always have.
That's been a thing.
Yeah, like pretty much the only time it wasn't a thing was in '66 Batman, where she was just Catwoman.
Well, and even there, Bruce and I forget.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
what her fake alter ego name was?
Russian lady. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. So we're back to the Iceberg Lounge again. Selina and Batman discover that Commissioner Savage and the DA, Coulson, are dirty. Like, they are in Falcone's pocket. She's... it's really cool tech. Like, Batman fitted her out with these, like, contact lenses with cameras built in. But like, live stream cameras to where, like, he could see what she's seeing.
So he's almost quite literally looking through her eyes.
Yeah.
She's got an earpiece, so they're communicating.
But at the same time, it's like RoboCop tech to where, like, she looks at somebody and like all the identification pops up. You know, so
dead or alive, you're coming with me.
You beat me to it. I couldn't remember the dead or alive part, but you're coming with me was there. And so it's just this really cool like tandem of like Batman knows, hey, you already work there. You can get in. I can't go in dressed like this. Like I'm not going to get the information I need. So they're working together, investigating this. Yeah. Coulson he's hot for Selena. Like,
well, he's also high too on
very high. Yeah, he's
on drugs. Yeah,
on drop. Drop is the drug of choice in Gotham. Mm-hmm. He's a drop head. So yeah, he's very high and he's very interested and he's wanting to take her back to his place. She says no. He heads back to his car. Well, very Halloween-esque.
Yep.
This was such a cool scene. It was awesome in Halloween. Coulson gets in the car, realizes the windshield's a little foggy, looks at his passenger seat and sees like the headrest has been removed from his seat that's sitting in the passenger seat, and then the Riddler attacks him from behind. Doesn't kill him though. Nope. That's not in his plans. Riddler he's a planner.
Well, and in the meantime, Selena runs into Falcone as well.
Right. Yeah.
And Bruce is trying to get her to like kind of get some info out of him, and he notices again that there's like they acknowledge one another. It's like, wait, you have a relationship with this guy?
Right, yeah.
And that's like, when she's like, she stops. She pops the contacts out. Yep, I'm done.
Yeah, goes into the bathroom, staring herself in the mirror, and just rips the contact out. And but apparently it live streams because she never gives the contacts back to Batman. I would assume she doesn't give them back. She seemed angry, but yet he had all the footage.
So she just left him in the sink there so he could watch whoever else came into the bathroom. Good thing she didn't throw him in the toilet.
Right, that would have been bad.
No.
Batman's up all night. This is the greatest movie ever. I don't have time for a relationship, so I just put my my X-ray contacts. But no. Dookie.
Is that what I oh my goodness.
Oh, turtle. There's a turtle.
You should really eat more fiber.
But yeah, that was the question I had. It was just like, so my guess is that footage had to have been streaming back to him at some point.
Yeah.
Like, because I wouldn't think that she would like meet him back on the rooftop and be like, "Here's your contacts, Batman."
I put him in Bausch and Lomb solution for you.
Right. So Riddler has abducted Coulson again, very Halloween style. Straps a time bomb to his neck, and then the next day, a couple days later, I kind of lose track of the time frame here, but it's the mayor's funeral, and Bruce Wayne has to be there. So Bruce shows up
begrudgingly. He hates being Bruce Wayne.
Oh
by
my
the
god,
way.
he hates being Bruce. Like we thought Christian Bale hated being Bruce Wayne,
but he at least had a purpose to his Bruce Wayne.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah,
but this one is like he doesn't like he's a kid. Like Pattinson obviously is much younger than Bale. But I feel he plays Bruce Wayne even younger than he is as well. Because he's just still really, he's angry at Alfred. Like, he just lashes out. Like
very angsty.
It's just very, not immature, but, angsty is the perfect word for it. Just, you at one point he even says, "You're not my dad."
You're not my dad, Steve. You married my mom. You're not my dad. Right. I'm not going to call you Dad, Steve.
Right. I mean, it really was. You're not my father, but
yeah.
You're not my dad, Al.
No, I don't want to have a catch with you.
Right. Just get out of my room and leave me alone.
I'm going to go play TurboGrafx.
Right. And so, but we're at the funeral, and of course everybody's doing their thing or whatever, and you hear all this commotion outside as this car just comes barreling through the wall.
Just right into the building.
Yeah, it just comes crashing through the building. Fortunately, everybody gets out of the way in time. Bruce has to run up and grab the son of the mayor who's standing near the casket. And who comes stumbling out of the car? Coulson, he's got his neckwear on. He's got a cell phone taped to his hand. Like he's there for a purpose. And so they clear out everything, bring in the bomb squad or whatever, and they realize that it's for Batman.
It's for you.
And so I'm also curious, like, did Bruce have time to run home and change and come back? Did he? Because he's not quite as sophisticated with the tech as like Tony Stark is, where
he doesn't
just,
like the briefcase,
like turns his watch and suddenly he's got his Iron Man suit on.
Just blinks hard twice.
Right. But he's also not gonna like go run into the phone booth a la Superman.
Yeah.
So, but
he just carries a garment bag, like a Men's Warehouse garment bag over his shoulder.
It's actually like it's a stick with a polka dot like handkerchief,
like a bindle.
He's got like a hobo bindle on him.
What? This is totally a Kenneth Cole suit. It's double breasted. No, you can't see it.
This is J. Crew fall catalog.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I did notice that in this movie, his home is downtown. It's not like a remote mansion,
Right.
Like,
he's not out in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Batcave almost looks like an old like abandoned like subway tunnel.
Yeah. It kind of looks like, you remember Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze?
Oh yeah.
They set up shop at an old like an old subway station that like was forgotten by time. I'm pretty sure they were on the set of Turtles 2.
I can't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. I did catch, like, if you watch the credits long enough, like the second song of the credits was the Vanilla Ice song.
So, okay, yeah.
Turtles 2 it is.
Yeah, not Ice Ice Baby, but
no.
Ninja Rap.
Ninja Rap, yeah.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
So we need to put a soundtrack together for this show of just us singing the hits.
Yeah, let's talk about Flick's soundtrack.
Right. And so, Coulson, like Batman is interrogating him, and Coulson just refuses to name the informant. Like, he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm goner anyway. And on the phone call, like, it was a series of questions. Coulson is answering him. He will not name the informant. Riddler tells him, if you don't answer, it's gonna blow, and he holds true. It does. Yeah. He just blows Batman off his feet. Like, just this is a violent movie. Like, and they're not showing like brain matter spraying all over. But yeah, it's almost like Batman. I just felt like he had faith it wasn't gonna happen, because it just caught that explosion right full chest. So now Batman and Gordon, they're certain that Penguin's the informant.
Yeah.
And they track Penguin to a drug deal. He's flanked by the police. Like, Batman he's had altercations already at the Iceberg Lounge with cops that are, really cool line coming up where, at one point, and this is in the interrogation room later on, but like Gordon says to Batman, you're like, oh, these cops are moonlighting as muscle for Penguin, and Batman's like, no, these thugs are moonlighting as cops. Like, they're dirty first.
Yeah, that's their first job.
Yeah, and so they track Penguin to a drug deal. They find that the former drug kingpin, Maroni, which is what all this really is surrounded by, like somebody ratted out Maroni, somebody got him, and so Maroni's been taken out, and basically they find out that Maroni's full operation is now Falcone's.
Yeah.
And there are many, many dirty cops involved. Things are running pretty smoothly until Selena shows up. And she's there. She's going to steal the money. Like, it's mine. And that's really the only reason she's there. She takes out a couple of henchmen, and she's going to steal the money. And it's just long enough of a delay because Batman shows up to stop her. They're looking in the trunk. She whips back a bag, and there's Annika dead right there in the trunk.
Right in the trunk.
And so it's just long enough a delay that the goons come out, and they're now attacking Batman and Selena. Penguin takes off. And we get a sweet car chase.
Oh, what a great car chase sequence that is.
So I don't, honestly, as awesome as the Batmobile is, I want whatever car Penguin was driving because his actually looked like street legal, and it was legit. Like, it held up to...
Was it like a late model Ford Taurus?
I think it was, yeah. It was a Mercury Cougar.
It was a Pontiac Bonneville.
Right. You know, I'm pretty sure I saw T-tops on that car. But no, there's just this sweet car chase. Penguin's trying, and then like highway full of cars.
Yeah.
Like, it's weaving in and out. Batman has quite possibly, looks like, honestly, the most, like, and I joked about street legality a minute ago, but probably the most street legal looking vehicle that Batman has driven yet in a movie. It just looks like I'm gonna take a muscle car, reinforce it a bit, and throw on a jet engine.
Mm-hmm. You know what it reminded me of, Oz? It reminded me of our of Mad Max May and the Pursuit Special.
Oh, it did, yeah. That's a great tie-in. It does remind me of the Pursuit Special, yeah. Especially, you know, with it, and it had like that extra gear.
Yeah,
like,
it had that extra something that the other vehicles around there don't have.
Without needing one of Morton Joe's war boys to climb up front and spit gasoline into the
gasoline.
Yeah, without that, but yeah, it just seemed like it has like a nitro switch.
Batman did at one point yell, "Witness me!" he's careening at 100 miles an hour wrong way against traffic.
But it wasn't chrome. I think it was just Banaka that he was spraying into his mouth. And so, but a sweet car chase. Penguin thinks he gets it because Penguin causes this accident where, like, this semi-trailer, like, flips on its side, full explosion.
Yeah.
A little eye rolling as Batman kicks it into gear and just happens to catch an empty, like, car trailer with the ramp down. Just happens to find that right when he needs it. And this scene, I know I mentioned Halloween a minute ago, but let's stick with John Carpenter here. This was very reminiscent of, like, Christine.
Sure.
Like, when he comes flying over that, and Penguin's like, I got him. Like, he's even stopped, parked sideways. Yeah. He's watching the wreckage of, like, I win. I got him. And then just car full of flame just comes flying over the semi. And then, of course, the car chase pursues, and Penguin ends up going overboard. He ends up on the roof of his car, and I love this shot from the Penguin's perspective.
Yeah. Of Batman just walking,
Camera upside down, Batman walking, very, like, Terminator-esque, you know, like, out of the flame. Well, not really out of the flames, but all the flame behind him, and just, like, nope, Penguin, you didn't win. I love the car chase scene in this movie.
Yeah, it was great.
Especially that, like, just that last couple minutes of the flying car over, and then I just fell in love with that shot, that inverted shot from the Penguin's perspective, because he's on his roof.
That really stuck out to me as well as I was watching.
Yeah, so Penguin's in custody now. Batman and Gordon, while interrogating him, they're led to an old orphanage, where they learn that the Riddler he's very angry at the Wayne family. We didn't mention something earlier, but it's kind of peppered its way in, and it shows up full force now, is when Thomas Wayne was going to run for mayor, he put, was it 20 billion, 2 billion, 1 billion?
A lot of money.
He put a lot of money up for this fund, this certain...
Was that renewal fund? Was that
renewal? Yes. For the renewal fund. Basically, it was going to be this billions of dollars that if I'm going to put this money up, and if I'm mayor, we're going to save Gotham. Mm-hmm. Like, I can fund it. We're going to do it.
Yep. I believe in Gotham.
Yeah. And so we find out there that Batman's, of course, / Bruce Wayne, he realizes there that Bruce Wayne is the next target. Bruce Wayne, and of course, Gordon doesn't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne. So, I'm sure it was a little, like, gulp. Batman's like, oh, Bruce is the next target. I know. And it's probably like, crap, it's me. And so Bruce, he realizing he's the next target, we get another really cool, like, juxtaposition of time of Bruce realizes I'm the target. and I'm not home.
So, who's in harm's way?
Yeah, Alfred. So he's rushing home. He's trying to get a hold of Alfred. The phone is just ringing. Alfred's not answering the phone. It's ringing and ringing.
Why didn't he answer the phone?
Well, he didn't answer the phone because we found out that he opened the package an hour before Batman was trying to call.
That's right.
So the damage was done, but it was kind of a cheat in the editing, in that they were laying the phone ringing over Alfred handling the mail. And Alfred, why did you open that mail? Like, clearly, like the return, like all of the lettering on there was like psychopathic. It was all scratchy, and he's like, "Oh, Master Bruce must be looking for this." It's like, you open it up, and like nothing there looked legit. Like,
I like your Alfred voice, by the way. Oh, Master Bruce. Oh, chip, cheerio. Spot a bother.
We watched the same movie, right?
Yeah. It's Mary Poppins, right? I think
exactly.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's a Cockney. It's a Cockney Alfred.
What's your here, man?
Oh, well, welcome to the show. And so we're gonna move on. You're making fun of me, and I don't like it.
Poking fun. Poke.
Oh, I'm fine. Poke. So Bruce is racing. Finally, like the what would you call it? Like she's not really a maid.
Some other house attendant. I don't know.
Some other member of the help answers the phone, and really this is the first time we've seen Batman do this too. In any of the Batman movies, except for Adam West, because he was Adam West's voice all the time. But it's almost like Matt Reeves watched all the same Batman movies that everybody else has watched, but he's had the same issue with all the Batman movies everybody else has had. So like when Batman, who's been gravelly voiced the whole time, when he's calling from the Batmobile and finally somebody answers at home, he switches on his Bruce voice.
Yeah, it was very subtle because it's not as different as like the Bale Batman.
It's not. No, but I really like that touch because he was talking to somebody who doesn't know.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And so he's talking to the housekeeper or whatever, about you guys got to get out, and she's like, something bad's gonna happen, and she goes, it already has, like an hour ago. So Alfred, again, who's been super intelligent up to this point. Yeah. Like he's been helping crack all of these cryptic codes that the Riddler is leaving, because he's like, oh, I used to do this. And so he stupidly opens that package containing C4. He's hit with the blast. He's obviously not dressed like Batman was when he got hit with the C4 explosive, and it doesn't go well. And so we do see, like, Alfred's legs have been blown off, and because there was an overhead scene in the hospital where like he's amputated from the knee down. So that sucks, but it's like, you were holding that package in your hands. Mm-hmm. How did your legs get blown off? It would have made sense if your arms were missing or your entire body, but he must. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Movie magic.
Yeah. Heat rises, therefore.
That's true. I think they cut it out, but I think as soon as Alfred realized it was bad, he probably tossed it up and did a 2-foot drop kick on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what caught it. It was the impact with his feet blew his legs off.
It blew his legs off. That checks
out. But
it
saved the rest of Wayne Manor, as the housekeeper was still there at a crime scene an hour later, answering the phone. So we cut to a scene where Selena reveals to Batman that Falcone is her father, that she was there because he owed me that money. I was going to take that money from the Penguin because it's my money. Well, why does he owe you that money? Well, because he's my father. My mother used to work there. Apparently she got knocked up, kept me a secret. He's my father.
Yeah, she's been dead since Selena was 7, so...
Yeah, so it's been this long...
simmering.
Yeah. And Falcone was there when she was taken away by like social services, like family services, and he didn't say a thing about it. So she's very bitter and is playing the long game and getting her revenge. Riddler reveals that Thomas Wayne hired Falcone to kill a reporter, because apparently Bruce's mother was in Arkham, and the Arkhams, of course, with the asylum, there is a history of mental illness in the family, and Thomas Wayne wanted to keep it a secret prior to the mayoral election, and this National Enquirer-esque reporter uncovered the truth, and apparently, according to Riddler, Thomas Wayne had hired Falcone to take out this reporter so he doesn't dig up the dirt. Batman goes real stupid here. So Batman just goes to Falcone and says, "Hey, I know the truth. I know what happened." And so, that's when Falcone, who has not even a shred of decency and honesty in this movie thus far, is like, "Oh no, like, yeah, I did it, but but Maroni's the one that had your father killed, because it was this whole you had my father killed because he was going to go to because he talked to Alfred, Batman went and talked, or Bruce went and talked to Alfred. Alfred revealed we'll get there. But Falcone says Maroni had Wayne killed. Bruce then talks to Alfred, who he goes straight to Alfred and accuses him of lying. Like, "You've lied to me."
As he's waking up from a coma, he comes to and Alfred sees him and smiles at him, and Bruce is like, "You lied to me."
Yeah, because Falcone told me the truth, and you, who've been my father figure since I was a young boy,
you're not my dad. You're a liar.
Right? You lied to me again, Al.
I'm going to my room. I'm going to my room to play Sega Genesis.
And Carmine told me the truth. I don't even like you. So Alfred's like, "Oh, no. Yes, your dad did go to Falcone to just threaten the reporter." I said Falcone. Wrong movie. Sorry.
Let's start the whole episode over.
So Alfred, he reminds him, "Oh, no. Your dad went to Falcone to scare the reporter, and he killed him instead. And your dad felt so guilty that he said, I'm going to go turn myself in. I'm going to turn you in." And in fact, it was Falcone that had Wayne killed to keep it all under wraps.
Bum, bum, bum.
Right. So Batman and Gordon they're back on the street, responding to a bat signal. Kind of coincidentally pulled up at the exact same time. And they have this whole, "I thought you lit the sign." "No, I thought you lit the sign."
Why would Batman light his own side?
I don't know. I don't think Batman, how do I get a hold of Gordon? I know.
I'll light my sign. Right. I don't have a sign with a big G on it.
That would be funny. It's shaped like the Ambiguously Gay duo, like Gary, logo on his belt.
Like early fancy script.
So Batman and Gordon respond to the bat signal, finds out it's Selena has turned it on. And she's captured one of the dirty cop, Kinsey. He's like the only dirty cop that's been given a name, but he's whatever. So she found her phone on him, and listens to a voicemail from Annika that is recording her death. She had called for help, and it was Falcone that strangled her to death. And whole was she holding the phone near their mouths when this was happening? Because at no point does the audio trail off.
No, it's all right there.
It's right there. So, but yeah, so it's all captured.
I have another call beeping in.
It's my auto insurance.
I don't want to save on long distance.
So we find out through this voicemail that the mayor told Annika that Falcone was the informant, which is why Falcone and Kinsey were going to kill her. So we now know Falcone killed Wayne, and Falcone is the informant that got Maroni taken out. So that's why he's got everybody in his pocket. Selena's had enough. "I'm going to go kill him. I'm going to the Iceberg Lounge. I'm going to 44 Below.
He's done.
I'm done. I'm going to go kill him." And Batman's like, you do it, you're no different than he is.
You're no different than him. You don't cross that line.
Right. So Batman follows her as well. and they stop, you know, like it. And we really haven't had any Riddler stuff going on for a while, which I don't know how, but Reeves did a great job of almost letting you forget about him. Like, there's been enough of this Falcone, Penguin, Selena, Alfred, Batman stuff going on.
It pivots to, you know, like kind of Selena and Falcone and Batman for a while before Riddler comes back in.
Because Riddler he probably thought that he took out Wayne, because there was the explosion at Bruce Wayne's place, and really we haven't seen Bruce Wayne since. And so he talks to there's a fight scene, and they're gonna kill whatever. Batman's like, nope, we're doing this the right way. So Batman marches Falcone out, marches Falcone outside.
He stopped Selena from killing him. Though.
Yeah.
He had a pool cue across her throat. Falcone
he's gonna kill her.
Yeah,
he had no problem with it. He's choking her with his hands at one point too.
Yeah, and Batman got there just in the nick of bat time to save her.
Yeah, a lot of coincidences and well-timed things in this movie, but that's okay. Like, that's being nitpicky. So Batman, nope, I'm gonna march him out there. What kind of a cool scene? Open the door, and Falcone's like, you can't arrest me. Like, I've got every cop in my pocket.
Yeah.
Batman opens the door, and there's like a swarm of police officers. And he's like, well, it looks like you don't have all of them. You know, book them, Dano.
Roll credits.
Right, the end. Penguin comes out. Falcone, there's just a lot of anger. Falcone comes out. He's going to rat out Penguin. Penguin, he's trying to get his gun out of his waistband. They lurch on him, and then Falcone gets taken out.
Not by Penguin, though. Penguin's I didn't get a shot off.
Right, yeah, like I was gonna, but somebody beat me to it. Batman looks across the way and sees like an apartment across, and then remembers that like the last clue was, basically like bring the rat out into the light.
Yep.
And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about the Riddler. Even Batman was like, oh yeah, forgot about that guy. And so they go, Batman and crew. I feel like we're very long-winded, but this is a
it's a long movie, and there's a lot of plot, in this movie.
And so, as you know, I normally don't take this detailed notes, and I've skipped over a ton. And so, realizing Falcone's
the apartment.
And so they're at the apartment. They're looking things through. I mean, and it's like, it really is like John Doe's apartment in the movie Seven. There's journals, there's clues, there's pictures, there's newspaper clippings. I mean, it's straight out of whatever city they were in.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like Kevin Spacey's apartment.
Yeah,
Probably still looks like Kevin Spacey's apartment.
Or any David Fincher movie, for that matter.
Yeah, really, any David Fincher movie. But we get wind that a witness saw someone leaving the apartment, and that person is currently at the diner, like across the street. I wonder, and I actually just thought this, I wonder if the witness who called in was the Riddler.
Maybe. He wanted to get caught at that point.
Right, he wanted to get caught because it was the next part of the plan. But I just wonder if the person who saw it, like, I bet he called himself in.
Police? I just saw some guy go down the fire escape, and he did this totally gnarly, like, 360 off of it. Stuck the landing. Looked pretty cool.
He's pretty hot guy.
One of the hotter guys I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of hot guys.
He's probably a 9'5", 9'8". He's not a sweet 10, but yeah.
You can tell he doesn't need to work out a lot either. He's just naturally chiseled.
Probably doesn't even need the glasses he had on. He's really hot, though.
Just go check him out.
Right. He ran by me and said, riddle me this, or something like that. But either way, he's totally cool. Like,
I think I kind of want to go hang out with him.
Yeah, if you want to know, my name's Kato. And so, they enter the diner, and he's sitting there at the table. And, of course, every cop shows up. Like, they all, make room in the diner. We need 48 police officers in here for this guy. He's, of course, leaving this cute little... Like, he does his own little cappuccino art. Leaves a little question mark, a perfect question mark right there in his cup of cup of coffee.
Great trailer shot right there.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And so we've got Riddler in custody now. Mm-hmm. Batman is in doing his interrogation. Batman discovers that Riddler knows that he's Bruce Wayne. Like, you know, Riddler's talking to Batman. Riddler, like, out of his costume. It's just, you know, what was his name?
Was that Edward
Nash? Yeah, Nashton,
yeah.
Because wasn't it in the commas? Wasn't it like Edward Nigma? Wasn't he Enigma?
Yeah, Enigma. Yeah,
yeah. But he's not Enigma here. He's, you know, Nashton. But so he's Nashton. He's not Riddler. But he's talking to Batman, and it's eerie. Like, Paul Dano's like speech patterns of this scene are very eerie.
Yeah, I know. I've only seen this movie one time, and it was prepping for this, and I was watching this movie in several segments, breaking up the 3-hour runtime. I've been watching it. I've been watching it in like 20-minute chunks over the last several days.
You've been watching it all month.
Yeah, basically.
That's why we put it last. So you'd have time to finish.
Time to catch up. And I might be wrong on this, but I'm not sure if Nashton knew he was Bruce. Because he kept saying it, but I don't know. Because at one point...
I got the vibe that he knew he was Bruce, and that's why he kept saying it, because he knew it was making Batman uncomfortable, because nobody knew that he was Bruce.
Yeah.
That's what I took, because I guess the first way he said it was, it's almost like Batman reacted when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just kind of shot him a look, because he's just like, Bruce Wayne, you know, like, I'm onto you. I figured it out. But you could be right. I don't know.
You might be right. I don't know. I'm sure there's others who the answer's out there someplace.
Comment below, everybody.
If you're Paul Dano, comment below.
Yeah. Just comment below. Just let us know. Let us know what you think. So yeah, if you're listening at the hour mark of this episode still, like finally I've been invited to interact. Yeah, so like I said, Batman discovers Riddler knows he's Bruce Wayne and that he's the next target. You know, I think he also knew, because he's got all this stuff for Batman, but then like in the apartment there were still those clippings of like Bruce Wayne's face was circled, and like naturally like a young orphan Nashton is looking over his shoulder. But he's also talking to him about how, you know, he would never understand what it's like to be an orphan. He never had to share a room. With 30 people, and it's like he's talking to Batman about this. So I really think that he knew he was.
I literally just Googled the Batman did, and the first autocomplete option was, did the Riddler know? So I'll save the time here, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So Batman visits Riddler at Arkham. Riddler believes that he's Batman, and Riddler believes that he and Batman have been working together. That they both have been out to basically, like, because you think about who Riddler's gotten rid of. He's gotten rid of a dirty mayor. He's gotten rid of a dirty police commissioner. He's gotten rid of a dirty DA. He's got it set up to, like, he's been trying to, like, clean out all of the...
It's a very warped sense of justice.
Yeah.
Right. He's taking out, these wealthy elites, with power and privilege, and he's punishing them, taking his vengeance out, because like Batman Begins last week, fear was a big theme. Vengeance is the big theme.
As a matter of fact, Batman calls himself Vengeance in this movie. He doesn't say I'm Batman. I'm Vengeance.
I'm Vengeance.
Right. And next time I'll be Vengeance too. But it's, I get the feel, like you said, that Riddler believes he and Batman have been working towards the same goal.
Yes.
We're trying to clean up Gotham. I'm just doing it a little bit more directly. Batman, of course, refutes the claim, and Riddler realizes then that Batman hasn't figured out the plan.
Mm-hmm. There's more Batman's, to it. This isn't over.
And he gets so excited. He's on the other side of the interrogation window, and when he realizes Batman hasn't figured it out, he's just beside himself. Like, I did it. I finally outsmarted him. My plan was going to happen.
Well, but he also expresses some like disappointment. He's like, you know,
he tells him that I'm very disappointed.
If Alfred is stepdad that angsty Bruce is angry with, Riddler becomes like disappointed dad. Like, I'm not mad. Right. I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
Right. Yeah, I still love you, but
I'm just disappointed.
Right, and so. Batman is like, I've got more work to do. He goes back to the apartment by himself. And then, you know, he's trying to figure stuff out. And of course, he's got the bludgeon weapon that he killed the mayor with. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew what it was when they were in there. But luckily, Magic Cop stops by.
Magic Carpet Cop.
Right, yeah. Perfect timing cop stops in and he's like, oh, but he knows because my brother lays carpet. I know what that is. And that's when Batman's like, oh, well, let me rip the carpet up. And that's where he sees the map of Gotham complete with lighting. How
did you not see that through there?
Yeah, should have been. But
he strung some holiday lights up there.
So the plan is that he's, you know, I could have thrown Fight Club in the mix too, I suppose.
Or Zodiac.
David Fincher movie. Nashton Riddler he's set up like 7 vans full of explosives along the seawall Gotham. He's gonna flood the city. Like, you know, this is my ultimate goal is to clean up. Mm-hmm. He's gonna destroy the seawall and kill the new mayor. It's also unlocked. Batman realizes that Riddler's got quite the social network following.
Yeah, he does.
Probably,
influencer.
Probably on the yeah. It's like he's just a step below Ryan's toy review.
He does makeup tutorials on the side as well.
He just puts the makeup on top of his Green Army Man plastic
over the duct tape.
Yeah. But so, you know, the Riddler, he's got these followers and he's basically empowered them, and in a scene very reminiscent of something we've experienced somewhat recently. Which I'd be interested to see the timetable on when this movie was made, considering it came out early 22.
I think it came out in March, so there's no way that it could have tied in with the events that happened 2 months prior to it. However,
it wasn't 2 months prior.
You're right. I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I was thinking the date, not the year.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that was like, I'll get the influential leader out of the way. But we're going to put our leader behind bars, though. We don't want it. We don't want it to be too realistic.
The Riddler's followers were also chanting "Hang Mike Pence," which
there was the one guy that didn't put on his green duct tape suit and was instead, had face paint and horns.
Yeah, had the horns and
I saw him in the background.
The guy with Nancy Pelosi's podium was also running by.
Right. They were all there.
I brought my AK-47. What did you break? Nancy Pelosi's podium.
That's an oddly specific weapon. So Batman's figured it out. So he shows up at Gotham Square Garden.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to stop the goons. Selena shows up, thankfully, because Batman is winning. Like, he really is. He's taken out the goons. They've kind of like carabinered in, and they're going to shoot people up from above. Yeah. And Batman, he comes in and starts cleaning house, and but there's just too many of them. And he's like, it's not looking good for Batman. Then magically, Selena shows up right when she needs to, lends him a hand. Batman takes a shot to the face.
Yeah, like a shot. Yeah, shotgun, close range, point blank.
Right, right there, and she gets attacked. And again, like, people like choking her. Like nobody fights Selena. They just like pin her down and try to strangle her. She gets attacked. Batman just like goes all Predator and like gives himself a shot of adrenaline.
Yeah, that was pretty like this green ooze that's on our second Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze reference. He injects himself with the same radioactive materials that.
So does he know Bane? Like, and do you think in this universe he knows Bane yet?
I was thinking that like is this like a pre Bane kind of thing,
or because we're 2 years in, is this post Bane? Yeah, and that Bane's already been taken care of, and he's like, he was onto something.
When in Rome.
So, right. Dude. So he gives himself a pop of that, and just like he goes uber Batman now. Like the police have to pull him off this guy because he's just pummeling. This person. I would have thought that guy would have been in much worse shape after getting many shots. Like, Batman was destroying the guy, and the guy's just like, ow!
Owie! It stings!
Thanks for stopping him. Does anyone have any Bactine? I need a... And so, movie's over. Riddler is in Arkham. He's befriended Joker. We don't know which Joker, but we know it's Joker.
Yeah.
The Riddler befriends Joker because of course he does. Selena and Batman have this kind of cool scene where she's like, there's nothing here. Like, I've lost all hope in this city. I'm leaving. Come with me. And he's like, I see hope. Like, I need to be that hope. We get this really cool scene where, like, he falls down into the water and, like, the mayor's been shot and people are cowering and, like, he lights a flare and just starts saving people. Like, not from, like, bullets or anything, but just, like, I'm going to help you get to safety.
Well, and it's the first time in the whole movie, and I'm guessing the first time as Batman, that, like, he's helping people that in a way that doesn't involve violence.
Exactly. It's the first time he's actually been a helping hand instead of, just a vigilante. And so they're on their respective motorcycles, and she goes one way and he goes the other, and
he spends a lot of time as he's driving at full speed looking in the rearview mirror and watching her. I noticed that.
He's probably looking straight ahead, but the film camera he's carrying is aimed at the rearview mirror. It's still not safe to drive with a large film camera on a motorcycle, but yeah, like he's doing a lot of like checking her, like, well, this is my last chance, so I'm gonna. I hate to see you go, but I love to see you leave.
You should probably look in front of you while you're going 70 miles an hour on a motorcycle, though.
I figure everybody else is underwater at the GSG. So.
Nobody else is on the road. I was expecting like a squirrel to run out in front of him, like, oh no!
like the Geico squirrels, and then they like fist pound. And but that's it. That's it for the Batman.
That's the Batman, folks. All right, at this point in the show, Oz and I each give our own unique rating to the film we've been yapping about. In this case, 2022's The Batman. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this flick 7 good dad jokes.
7 good dad jokes.
That's my riddle. No, I love this movie. I was very impressed. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it the first time I watched it a couple of months ago. I liked it just as much this time. It's one of those that it is so long that it's easy to forget things. So I remember it the first time I watched it, but watching it again, like, I forgot what the opening scene was like. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. Like, but I did. I really, really enjoyed this movie. How about you?
I'm going to go with, let's go with 9 exploding Alfreds.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
9 exploding Alfreds. Why not? Next up in the rundown, we got Outside Insights, where Oz and I each put on our detective caps a la Batman and scour the interwebs to find some unprofessional review that someone left someplace, and we have some yucks at said writer's expense. Oz, what's your Outside Insight?
My Outside Insight is a half-star review by Shamal, left on September 10th of this year.
Ooh.
This is the longest Outside Insight I've had, but it's not like ungodly long. For a movie like this, whatever.
Sure, it's a 3-hour movie. We may as well have
everything's long. Yeah. So this person says, I saw this back in March, but I want to make sure that my opinion about this movie is heard. Capital heard.
Ooh.
I had the worst experience. Robert Pattinson has 2 lines. The ending was so confusing. I didn't like how Batman's relationship with Catwoman, or whatever her name is, evolved. There was no relationship, no connection. They just started, and then using symbols, making out. $KING O/T. Like, that's not a bad word. You can...
Well, it's ironic that in this PG-13 Batman movie they dropped an F word in there. They used their one PG-13
their allotment,
non-sexual context allotment of an F word. But we can't spell out the words making out.
Making out. So no relationship, no connection. They just started making out. The plot was all over the place. A lot of periods, by the way. Overall, this movie sucks so bad, and I was sad that I wasted my time watching it. Like, what? 2+ hours watching this? The Riddler was the only good part in this film. I hated this movie. If I could give it a negative 126,262 stars, I would. Worst experience ever.
Ever. There has been no experience in human history worse than watching The Batman.
Yeah. I feel bad for him. Yep. Or Catwoman, or whatever her name is.
Or whatever her name is. It's Catwoman. That's what it is.
You were right the first time.
Yeah.
But no, I
don't question yourself. Say it with confidence.
I love how this person was so taken aback that like they couldn't bring themselves to type the forbidden words making out.
Making out. What will mother think?
Oh, what's your... I've got one more, but I want you to...
Okay. My outside insight came from the Internet Movie Database. It's a 5 out of 10 star review. I went for a mid-tier one. This is by Cakes 69319, and it was left just this past June 2022.
Ooh, nice.
Am I the only one that thinks it's too dark? I mean, I thought nothing can stop me from viewing Robert Pattinson's pretty face, even the Batman's mask. But the movie's lighting succeeded. The last movie I watched that is so visually dark was AVP 2. I wasn't selective there. That was the entire
post. I see them having like a Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison list of darkest movies I've ever seen, and they have to scratch out AVP 2 and replace it with The Batman.
The Batman. Yep. Sorry, AVP 2. You're now the second darkest movie. Literally darkest movie I've ever seen.
Oh, this person just finds they're just squinting through the whole movie. What am I watching? I can't see.
I've noticed that in my outside insights, as I've evaluated my progress with this, I noticed that I tend to cling to outside insights where they unnecessarily drop references to other movies. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It's like I'd rather be watching X-Men.
I know. I do love it. I love it when they're cute little like mental bubble of film, and they're like when they're pulling their connection. Because of course we reference movies constantly when we're doing the show. But I love it when people are like, "Man, this movie was darker than AVP 2." A movie I have not watched nor plan on watching. So now that I know it's basically just looking at a TV screen that's been turned off, I don't need to watch it.
Well, you've seen it. I've seen it many times.
I see it when I sleep. Every time I blink, I'm watching AVP 2.
It's just on a constant loop.
Power goes out. It's AVP 2 in real life.
As you mentioned, you had another
do.
Bonus outside insight, folks.
That's right. This one's a good one. Half-star review, left in August. One line. Would have been better if they cast an actual Bruce as Bruce Wayne. Hint, hint, hint. After I read that, I then looked who wrote it. Bruce Campbell fan 2537.
So they wanted Bruce Campbell.
They're campaigning for Bruce Campbell to be Bruce Wayne in this movie.
A good old Campbell campaign.
It's like Bruce Campbell, he'd be like Bruce Wayne would be older than Alfred in this movie. Like, that just doesn't quite add up.
What other famous Bruces could we cast there? I guess
Bruce Vigilante.
I was just gonna say, you beat me to it. Like, Bruce Willis is the obvious one to say, but I was gonna go. I was hoping you were gonna go. Bruce
I wasn't even thinking Bruce Willis.
It's funny that the first famous Bruce you and I think of.
No. That's pretty pathetic.
Name of it's like Family Feud, you know, like famous Bruces. Flanch.
Oh my! I can't think of any other Bruce that would be an action star.
Buffalo Bills Hall of Famer Bruce Smith.
Right? Bruce Sutter.
Bruce, there you go, Bruce Sutter. There aren't enough famous Bruces out there.
We need more.
I demand more famous Bruces.
Does anybody even name their kid Bruce anymore?
It's a name you don't hear a lot of Bruces anymore. We need to bring back Bruce.
I had more than one Bruce in my schools growing up.
Yeah,
and I've been in education 20 years. I don't remember ever having a Bruce.
Yeah. You don't hear Bruce too often anymore. You don't hear like Larry. There's not a lot of Larrys anymore.
No. I think people just chalk it up to like those are like old man names that they don't want a kid stuck with.
They will,
but at the same time, like, well, we stick cute, like young kid names that these people are going to grow old. Mm-hmm. So whatever, but yeah, there are not many Bruces.
More Bruces, please.
This guy's campaigning for an actual Bruce to play Bruce Wayne.
Oh, I love it. All right, folks, it's time. It's time for our signature segment, the 3, 2, 1, where Oz and I each bring 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 whole to the table regarding said movie. In this case, 2022's Matt Reeves' The Batman. Oz, what are your 3 goods?
My first one, we have a real detective Batman.
Yeah, we do.
And I love it. I love Detective Batman because it's just what he's good at. Mm-hmm. And so I feel this is the first Batman movie in my recollection where he was doing detective work.
Yeah.
He was journaling his events. He was taking notes. Like, everything else is he was just punchy, drive my car.
He would do a little science stuff in the past.
Yeah, science stuff, though. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like a lot of the others was like, it's like superhero James Bond. It's a lot of gadgetry and a lot of tech. And a lot of being where he needed to be when he needed to be there.
Yeah, but you don't see other Batman standing around chalk outlines.
Right. Yeah, but I feel like in the other one, like Bale, especially in in Batman Begins and Dark Knight, especially, mm-hmm. It's almost like Bruce Wayne is the detective.
Yeah,
Batman's the muscle, Bruce is the detective. Whereas this one, it's like Batman's the detective. He doesn't even want to be Bruce. Like, I don't want to do that. So that's my first, is we got a real detective Batman. My second one, I pulled an air. See, I rarely check the ratings. I have down, the R rating really opens up the bleakness of this movie. And then I looked after you had made a comment, because you text me, like, oh, there's an F word for PG. I had to go look. I'm like, this is a PG-13
mm-hmm.
movie. This movie feels like an R movie.
Yeah, it pushes the PG-13 boundaries.
Yeah. And so this movie very much feels like an R-rated movie. I had it down because I didn't check. So that's my second one. It's just, like you said, they really branch out and take full advantage of everything they could get away with. Yeah. There's no nudity, thankfully. They don't need that in a Batman movie. They dropped their one F-bomb. I don't even remember when was it.
It was in the beginning of the movie. It was they were at the mayor's crime scene. And one of the other cops said it to Batman, like, "What's this blanking guy doing here?" Something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I like I said, of course, if it happened early in the movie, I had 2.5 hours to forget it. So,
or watch AVP 2,
or watch that one. But yeah, the extent that they went with the rating that they had, they really milked it for everything it was worth, because it felt raw, it felt hard, it felt violent, and they definitely tricked me into thinking it was an R. My third one, just a lot of the little things. I'm going to name one little thing in particular, is like Bruce Wayne takes his cowl off and he's got eye black on.
Yeah.
And he doesn't wipe it off. He's sweaty. He's dirty. We've seen bruised Bruce Wayne before, but like he's sweaty. Like this is a hard job.
He's grimy.
He's gritty, and I mean, it's fitting. It's absolutely fitting that, and you say grimy, and I think grungy is probably the more appropriate term.
But I mean, we heard that Nirvana song how many times in the movie?
Right, and that's what it's saying. It's fitting though, because like he's listening to Nirvana, and I'm like, you probably, like, we see Bruce Wayne, we think tuxedos, like you probably do throw a flannel over a t-shirt. This Bruce would. This is Seattle Bruce.
Well, I mean, they're basically in Seattle with all the rain coming down.
It's true. Or Kankakee.
The radius city of the Midwest.
That's right. The Seattle of the
Seattle Midwest, of the Midwest. Kankakee.
But no, just the little things like, you know, him having, like, actually, like, addressing the fact that, you know, in the other movies, when Bruce Wayne has the cowl on, he's got eye black around, but they, like, never recognize it. But here is like, no, it's part of his getup. It's part of his costume. I just like that attention to detail.
Well, it's the makeup tutorials he's been watching the Riddler do. You know, Bruce.
It's true.
Flips on his ring light
on the dark web,
and he you know, just you know, gets it just right.
Yeah, it's the ring light and then that flare at the end. Those are the only two pieces of lighting in this entire movie, and the fire after the semi blew up. So, but those are my three goods. How about you?
I'm going to start with Paul Dano. Oh, what a great performance he gave as the Riddler. They just wound him up and let him go, and he just did in just the right ways. And again, Paul Dano is one of those kind of like, he's kind of one of those that guy actor. It's like, oh yeah, that guy from There Will Be Blood. You know, that guy from Little Miss Sunshine. And I thought they cast that brilliantly. You know, they didn't necessarily go with an A-lister whereas, you know, you could have, but I thought they really went with the best actor for that part, and I thought it was great.
It's like Matt. He's to this movie what Heath Ledger was to Dark Knight.
Yeah,
of take a solid but underappreciated actor and just let him go.
Yeah,
and Paul Dano did an excellent job. I agree.
My second good would be the little rooftop speech that Catwoman gave to Batman. Where she's talking about like the people that he's going after are powerful and have this white privilege, and she nails the fact that Batman grew up rich just based on how he was kind of accosting her, because he was kind of going after her for her choices and things like that. Like you've made these choices, and she's like, you don't know what it's like. You probably grew up rich underneath that mask, because he's never had to make those choices. He never had to, even despite the fact that obviously he had emotional trauma as a kid. He never didn't have the privilege of wealth, so he was never forced in a
support system.
Yeah, he never had financial desperation, and so he doesn't know what it's like. And she calls him on that, and I thought that was great.
Good catch.
My last good, there's a couple others I'm going to go with. I'll go with just sort of the overall narrative arc, going from the vengeful Batman in the beginning to the one at the end who knows he needs to inspire hope. We kind of mentioned it there as he's, you mentioned right at the end when he's kind of pulling people out of the water. He's got the flare lit, but he's extending a helping hand to the person as opposed to a closed fist. For the prior 2 years as Batman, his way of helping people was to go after the bad guys as opposed to help the people who needed them the most.
Well, and he even addresses it himself early on, because in the 2 years that he's been Batman, things haven't gotten better. And he's at a point where he's about to give up hope, because he's like, I'm trying. And so he has this internal monologue that we hear. I think it was probably a voiceover even of we get the vibe that he spent 2 years. He doesn't even know why. He doesn't know what he's doing in doing this. He's just doing what he thinks is the right thing to do. And then, like you said, through this arc, he realizes, wait a minute, I could probably do more good siding with the good guys, than, because I'm never going to be able to remove all the bad guys.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. Especially in Batman's rogues gallery, there's you're not gonna get there.
No, there's a lot of them there. So yeah, that's my three goods. Oz, what are your two bads?
I wasn't, and again, I'm not a Batman comic diehard. So if this is the case, I didn't know it. I wasn't I thought it was just too convenient that Selina Kyle was Falcone's daughter. It just seems like we talked last week about Batman Begins and how that world, Christopher Nolan's Batman world, was very extended. Mm-hmm. You know, it was global. Like Gotham felt large. Gotham didn't feel large in this movie.
I'd agree with that.
We saw a lot of scenery. You know, we saw like expressways, and we saw skyscrapers, and we saw like it was very like Blade Runner-esque kind of like everything just felt real tight corner.
Yeah.
Real tight, but it just didn't feel very large. Like everybody involved in our plot, like pretty much all 10 characters, not all 10, but a vast majority of the 10 characters you named, like were tied somehow. Like we saw a photo with Bruce and Ashton together, like not together, but in the same photo. And then Thomas Wayne and Falcone are tied together. And of course, Penguin's in there as well. And Alfred, of course. But then Selina Kyle ends up being Falcone's daughter. It just seemed like everybody in this, really the only outsider it felt like to the whole movie was the new mayor-elect.
Yeah.
You know, like, but everybody it was too packaged, too together. And so I was like, oh, you know, okay, Selina Kyle is Falcone's daughter, whatever. For the narrative, it moved along, but it just seemed a little too convenient. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Does everybody have to be tied together here? And two, the movie is just too long.
Yeah.
I won't say it was wasted, but I joke here that I know detective work takes time, but they didn't need to film it in real time.
Yeah.
You know, because this definitely was Detective Batman, and they let him detect.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of surveillance and a lot of following. But it was a long movie.
It was. I admit sometimes when we're doing, you know, our weekly work and prep and whatnot, I'll look at usually the first thing I'll look at of the movie in the queue is the runtime. Yeah. And if it's like 100 minutes or shorter, I'm kind of like, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's not going to take up multiple days.
Yeah, and this one, again, great movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad I watched it. It's the first time I'd seen it, but it's like, oh man, like this is a drain. This is a lot of time.
Well, it's like this is a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
You know, and you figure those poor little hobbits made it a lot further
with
their journey. Batman never left Gotham.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go from my house to the Batcave, to the Iceberg Lounge, to this apartment, to the Iceberg Lounge, back to my house, back to the Batcave, back to the Iceberg Lounge.
It was all within like a five square block.
Right. It's like this is somehow a stage play.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my two bad. What about you?
My first bad is why is everyone whispering? Everyone, especially Gordon and Batman, they're talking in loud hushed tones.
Like, yeah, even a crowd of people, and like Gordon will get right up into the nape of his neck and whisper to him.
Like it's, as opposed to like, you know, the Bale Batman who's just gravel everything. But like this Batman and this Gordon, both of them, especially when they're together, it's like they're trying to out loud whisper each other.
Right.
It's like, just talk like a normal person in a regular volume.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's probably because
it's okay, Bruce.
It's okay, Bruce. It's okay. They're probably whispering because they knew that they were in a movie theater.
They're trying to be courteous.
That's probably it.
Yeah. My other. Oh God, I'm going back and forth on two here. I'll squeeze them both in.
Yes, share them both.
Whatever.
I shared two inside.
Well, one of them I'll say is very, very similar to just the length, and there's just so much plot to absorb. Like there's there's a lot of plot, and again, it's good, but it's just, man, it's a lot to unpack and keep track of.
And it's like I said earlier. I mean, yeah, I can't say we have three villains in this movie. Yes, we've got Catwoman, Riddler, and the Penguin, but Catwoman's not a villain in this movie. You know, she's just confused. But like I mentioned earlier, this movie the plot is so thick that there was a span of time where you forgot about the Riddler.
Yeah.
You know, and until he shoots Falcone, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. You know, the whole reason we're here.
My 2.5 bads for this one. The sad hair in Bruce's face. He always had the sad hair kind of coming down.
A lot of
he had sad goth hair coming down over his face. Right. He's sad. He's mopey.
He's a live action anime character.
Yeah, just take a comb through that, buddy.
Right.
I know. Oz, what's your? Yes.
I'm just picturing Bill Hader as Stefan as Bruce Campbell, or as Bruce
Campbell. Yeah. Bruce Hader as Stefan as Bruce Campbell as Bruce Wayne.
It's Inception. It's the sequel to Inception. Bill Hader as Stefan as Bruce Campbell as Bruce Wayne. Yeah. But no, I just picture that kind of hair, like just feel bad for me.
Sad hair. Sad Bruce hair. Oz, what's your
My I completely didn't even mention this in the plot because there was so much going on. But there was a part where they bring in Batman, like they bring him in, and Gordon convinces Batman, because Batman's now convinced everybody's dirty. All the cops are dirty. Even Gordon kind of is like, "You got to settle down," and Batman's like, "You too, huh?" So Gordon gets everybody cleared the room, and he's given all these secret, like, "I'm going to hand you the keys, and you're going to punch me in the face, and you're going to run and escape," and all this stuff. And he does. He punches him, and Batman runs, and there's this kind of a cool chase scene of all the cops chasing Batman through the police station. This extremely tall police station, by the way. Like, I'm pretty sure it was the Nokatami Plaza. It was the police station.
There wasn't a lot of square footage. They had to build up. Right. It's a small landmark to work with.
There's a series of books that came out by Louis Sakar called Sideways Stories at Wayside School. And the premise of this, I read it as a kid. I've read it to my kids. I read it to my students. But the blueprint for this school was supposed to be 30 classrooms wide on one story, but the architect had it turned sideways, so he built this school one classroom wide, 30 stories high.
Nice.
And the book is 30 chapters, and each chapter there's 30 kids in the class on the 30th floor.
Okay.
And each chapter is about a kid in that class. It's a hilarious book. And anyway, this police station is massive, but my is, and you may have noticed, you may not have, when the cops are on this foot chase of Batman, and there's cops all over the police station, all of them are yelling while they're running. Rah, 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 rah.
There's a lot of mustaches too. A lot of mustache cops in this,
right? Just but it's like even before they see him, you'll just see 15 cops running down an empty hallway, just rah, rah, rah. So my is like, why were they all yelling as they're running, chasing Batman? Like every corner he turned, here comes a mob of yelling police officers.
Rebel.
He goes up to the third floor. Here's another mob of yelling police officers. Like everybody's yelling. That was my it just cracked me up because every corner he turned, you didn't hear them around the corner, but as soon as you turned the corner, there they were. It's worth scrubbing through just to find that scene and watch it because it's short, but it's just everybody's just yelling, and that's my
Keep it down in there.
What is your Mr. Curtis?
My Mr. Oz, is why in the world is the local news playing like Riddler's broadcasts and like playing the audio of someone being strangled? Like aren't there like FCC standards that you have to
I'm
do?
Sure there are. And that you don't play smut films.
Let alone common decency. Like, why in the world is the local news broadcasting this? Yeah, let's incite a public panic.
Yeah. Just want everybody to know.
Yeah.
We're very transparent. Like, yeah, it was at least in Batman '89, the Joker had the know-withal to like hijack the signal, to play his Smilex commercials. This would be
they're just doing it for the Joker in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, and here it was like, we've got this film we'd like to share with you. What you're about to see is a little disturbing. Like, don't play it.
Don't do it.
Right.
So yeah, that's my So Oz, that wraps up the Batman and Batman month.
Man, this went quick.
It did go quick. Wow.
So next month's October.
Next month is October, and you know what October means?
The month of horror.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what do we have after a month of Batman? How can we? What can we do?
What a transition there.
With a Halloween month and Batman. What do you got? What do we got? You've got something up your sleeve.
I've got it, Oz. Instead of doing Batman for October, how about we do Man-Bats?
I love the idea. Are you talking about vampires?
I am talking about vampires.
Oh, a month of vampire movies. There is a stipulation, though.
Yes.
The movies we've picked, if we're going to call this Man-Bat month, and we've just watched a month of a movie a month full of movies of a man that pretends he's a bat. The stipulation for our Man-Bat month is that these movies must feature a vampire that transforms into a bat.
Yes. So not just any vampire movie. There's unfortunately no Near Darks here.
No Lost Boys.
Because you don't see the actual bat.
No The Hunger.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
But no, we're going with movies where the vampire turns into a bat. And it is your movie next week.
It is our first movie in Man-Bat month and episode 49, Oz. 1996's From Dusk Till Dawn.
That means we will wrap up the final week of October will be our year-end episode.
It will. Wow.
And we're ending it with a horror film. That's fitting.
It is very fitting.
And now that we know, one of my favorite guilty pleasure horror films is we're ending with. One that I know you've not seen, and I am so excited to share with you.
I am excited to see that.
It's a fun one. But yeah, we'll obviously get to that in a few weeks. But we do have next week, like you said, Robert Rodriguez From Dusk Till Dawn.
That bonkers movie From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's two movies.
Yeah, a movie that takes a hard right turn about halfway through.
Yeah. And as usual, we will keep it PG, and this is definitely a movie that does not lend itself to a PG review.
We'll be
we will keep
talking around certain things, however.
You mind if I plug something?
Go ahead, plug away, Oz.
As many of our listeners probably know, and I know you know, I am a huge horror movie fan myself.
You don't say.
I've had the itch to do a horror specific podcast. And so another coworker of mine, another educator coworker of mine, a female this time, she is a fan of horror films, and she and I will be starting a horror podcast in the coming weeks. I would say sooner rather than later. And so be on the lookout for that. There'll be information coming out. It's a completely separate entity. It's not tied to this fine show that you all have been joining us with. But the twist on this is we will be reviewing a random horror film each week. Not as deep a review as you and I do, of course, but we're gonna just kind of glaze over the plot, share whether we like it. But being educators, I know you and I are as well, but this is our thing. What she and I are going to do is we're going to focus this podcast on what it would be like being an educator in the environment of said horror film.
So for example, Oz, let's say that the random horror generator came up with Halloween.
Halloween, what it would be like. Well, for instance, there is a scene in that movie where Laurie Strode is in an English class. She's sitting in English class. She's kind of spacing out, looking out the window. She sees Michael Myers. And then, of course, we know the events that happen that night and move on. So, does Laurie come to class on Monday? And if I were the English teacher, I would wonder, where's Laurie? Because I don't know what my kids do over the weekend. And so, that would be a fun discussion is, what would I do in my English class the day after, or the Monday after Laurie Strode was nearly murdered and two of her classmate best friends were? Do I continue on with Dante or whatever they were covering, or I have a feeling that every episode's going to wind up the same way. We're just going to end up calling the grievance counselor. But no, in all fairness, so it'll be a fun little spin. It'll be a horror review podcast. There'll be some education involved in there as well. There'll be some humor. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. The name of this podcast will be called the Deducation Podcast. where again we'll be discussing a horror film and what it would be like being a teacher in that environment. She's an elementary teacher. I'm a high school teacher. She's a female. I'm a male. So we will have very different perspectives. And sometimes they won't even play in. Like, for instance, Halloween. Well, I guess, no, Tommy Doyle, he went through a pretty horrific thing, and he was an elementary kid. So how would she handle it? So it'll be a fun podcast. Make sure, if you're still listening to this show at the nearly hour 40 mark, but no, it'll be fun. It'll be horror only. No themes, just what's a movie, and let's talk about it.
Sure.
So stay tuned for that. If you like horror, you'll get plenty of taste there. So, but for this week and this month, let's talk about flicks. We are going to wrap up Batman month before we kick off Man Bat month. But thanks again for joining us. This might be our longest episode yet, but I also think this was our longest movie yet.
By far the longest movie. It's only
like
fitting.
This is the length of a couple of movies that we've watched. But no, you know where to find us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, of course, Patreon. Link down below if you want to help us out. If you're not, no problem. We're still going to do this anyway. But make sure you come back next month because we're going to cover 4 different vampire movies.
Man Bat.
4 different movies where vampires turn into bats. And so that's the key. That's the key there. So for Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you next week.